In this video, we will continue and complete the balance sheet. So we've completed the income statement, we've completed the retained earnings statement, and now we complete the balance sheet. Again, all of these values come from the trial balance. So I'm going to go to the trial balance and pull cash, accounts receivable, inventory, office supplies, prepaid insurance, and prepaid rent. So I go to the trial balance, right? Here's my cash, here's my inventory, here is my prepaid insurance, 11,000 prepaid rent, my office supplies of 12. So I'm going to bring all of those over to my balance sheet, right? Accounts receivable, inventory. So I take all of these numbers from the trial balance and bring it over to the balance sheet. I add them up and my total current assets is $473,000. And you're going to have these, you're going to have this outline here. You're just going to need to put it in the right order. Okay, so now we have plant assets. Okay, so I have land, then I have equipment, furniture and fixtures, building, and then I have the accumulated depreciation numbers. So I go to my trial balance and I look for land. So I'm going to bring land over of 130,000. I'm going to also have equipment. I'm going to bring equipment over of 41,000. I'm going to bring furniture fixtures over of 60,000. I'm going to bring building over of 275, and I'm also going to bring the accumulated depreciation numbers, the 800 for building, the 1500 for equipment, the 500 for furniture and fixtures. I'm going to bring all of that over, and I'm going to set it up in this format. Land is going to be 130,000. And then equipment is going to be 41, and the accumulated depreciation related to equipment is going to be in parentheses. So I'm going to take the difference between the 41 or the 41,000 plus the negative 1,500, and I'm going to get 39,500. This is my net equipment. I do the same thing for furniture and fixtures. 60,000 from the trial balance, 500. Anytime it's accumulated depreciation, I put it into parentheses. So 60,000 plus negative 500 gives me 59,500. And then I have building and accumulated depreciation building. So I take 275 plus 800, right? And I get 274,200. So these are all my net numbers. Land never has depreciation on it. Depreciation represents the using up of an asset. Well, land is never really used up. There's no wear and tear on land. So I take my land plus my net equipment balance plus my net furniture and fixtures balance plus my net building balance. I add 130,000 plus 39,500 plus 59,500 plus 274,200, and I get 503,200. That's my total plant assets. So now that I have that 473,000 plus the 503,200, I add these two together to get my total assets of 976,200. Okay. Now, I come and do current liabilities. I do the same thing. Accounts payable, interest payable, utilities payable, salaries payable, unearned revenue. I go to my trial balance. I look for accounts payable, salaries payable. What was the other one? Unearned revenue. I forgot the other one. Interest payable and utilities payable are 0, so there's nothing there. So I bring those numbers over, I add them up, and I get total current liabilities of 191,200. I go to my trial balance and I look for notes payable and bonds payable. So here's my trial balance. Here is notes payable, 275,000 on the credit side. Bonds payable is 0. Right? It's a payable, so it's going to be on the credit side. I bring those over. 275 plus 0 gives me 275. That's my total long-term liabilities. What's my total liabilities? It's the total current liabilities of 191,200 plus my total long-term liabilities of 275,000. I add those together. I get 466,200. Next, I go to common stock and retained earnings. So I go to my trial balance. I look for common stock, which is 290,000. Then I go look for retained earnings. See, I made the mistake, right? If we look for retained earnings on here, we're going to get beginning retained earnings of 0, and that's going to be incorrect. So I'm going to bring over my common stock of 290,000. Where do I get my retained earnings from? I do not get that from the trial balance, right? If I get it from the trial balance, it's going to be off. I go to my retained earnings statement that I just created, the 220,000. My ending retained earnings on the retained earnings statement goes to the retained earnings balance on the owner's equity section of the balance sheet. All right, so now I take my 290 plus my 220, that gives me 510,000. That's my total stockholders' equity. So I've got total assets, I've got total liabilities, I got total stockholders' equity. I need total liabilities and stockholders' equity, so I take my total liabilities plus my total stockholders' equity. I add those two together, and I get 976,200. I do my check. My check is, I look at total assets, 976,200. I look at total liabilities and stockholders' equity, 976,200. That most likely means that I have completed my balance sheet correctly. You could make a math error and those things match, but that's the check. All right, so that's the balance sheet. Most of these numbers are coming from the trial balance, and then we're doing some calculations for subtotals and then eventual totals.